Good afternoon. I am Chair Janelle Wilkins, and this begins the bill hearing for the Ways and Means Committee on March 25th. Thank you so much, colleagues who are present. I know several are on the way. I see Senator Bailey here on Senate Bill 357. Please come on up.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. And distinguished members of the committee, I'm Senator Jack Bailey representing District 29, which encompasses St. Mary's and the southern end of Calvert County. Senate Bill 357 requires a qualified organization to hold a gaming permit whenever the qualified organization operates a gaming device in St. Mary's County. This bill is identical to House Bill 610. It was sponsored by Delegate Todd Morgan. It passed this committee and the full House of Delegates already this year. I respectfully request a favorable report on Senate Bill 357. I thank you all for your considerations, and I would stand for any questions.
Thank you so much, Senator. Any questions? Okay, seeing no questions, we thank you for your time, and that ends the bill hearing on Senate Bill 357.
Thank you.
Senator Augustine, please come on up. This begins the bill hearing on Senate Bill 238. Senator Augustine, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Chair Wilkins. It's really great to see you there. And members of the committee, Senator Malcolm Augustine, here on behalf of Senate Bill 238, which is in the same posture as House Bill 340, as was sponsored and really led by Delegate Miraku North. I would just ask for a favorable report on Senate Bill 238.
Thank you, Senator. Any questions? Seeing none, that ends the bill here on Senate Bill 238. Thank you for your time. All right, do we have any other senators here in person? All right, we will go to our virtual presenter with MLDS. Let's begin the bill hearing on Senate Bill 56. Mr. Goldstein, you can go ahead and begin for 2 minutes.
Thank you, Chair Wilkins and Vice Chair Feldman and members of the Ways and Means Committee. I'm Ross Goldstein, Executive Director of the Maryland Longitudinal Data System Center. Senate Bill 56 would allow the MLDS Center Governing Board to authorize the center to provide individual level student and workforce data to a third-party data center to enable multi-state reporting and reporting on student outcomes. And the legislation specifies a set of criteria that the Governing Board must consider before granting authorization. This bill, Senate Bill 56, is cross-filed with House Bill 293, which was passed by the House committee, the House and this committee, and it has the identical set of amendments. So I would also strongly encourage the committee to approve the Senate Bill 56, which I think will provide Maryland the opportunity to advance our understanding of student outcomes. Thank you. I'm available to take any questions.
Thank you so much, Mr. Goldstein. Any questions? All right, seeing none, that ends the bill hearing on House Bill 56. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Next, we'll go to a departmental bill from MSDE, Senate Bill 218.
Hi. Good afternoon, Chair Wilkins and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Nick Greer. I am the parent member of the Maryland State Board of Education to speak on the importance of Senate Bill 218. This bill is about a timely decision-making in localized emergencies that directly disrupt in-person instruction but do not rise to the level of statewide emergency. Under current law, only the governor may declare a state of emergency that permits a local education agency to transition to virtual learning if in-person learning is not possible for 14 or more consecutive days. In practice, this creates a challenge. The governor does not issue a state of emergency in response to conditions affecting a single school or a county. This legislation aims to address that gap by authorizing the state superintendent of schools, in consultation with the governor, of course, to declare a prolonged state of emergency for public schools when extenuating circumstances require a temporary transition to virtual instruction. This authority would be limited, it would be targeted, and it would be responsive to conditions impacting specific schools or school systems, not the entire state. MSDE fully supports the amendments put forth by both chambers of the General Assembly to further refine the scope of this legislation, viewing them as thoughtful guardrails that clarify key elements of the process. We appreciate the intent of the amended bill to clarify the circumstances that can necessitate a prolonged state of emergency declaration, require that such a declaration be made in writing and include the local county superintendent, mandate consultation with the governor and other entities as needed, and define the 3 methods to terminate the declaration. We thank the committee for its partnership in these refinements and respectfully request a favorable report for Senate Bill 218. Thank you, and we're happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for your testimony. Question from Delegate Ebersol.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We have a similar bill in the House. Yeah, the Senate, the stance of the Senate bill, does it match the House's amendments, or are there differences? You have to I just want to know if they're different.
If the 2 versions are different?
Yes, please.
I actually believe they adopted this, I believe the same amendments were adopted.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Delegate. Any other questions? Okay, seeing none, that ends the bill hearing on Senate Bill 218. I see Senator Simonaire here. Please come on up for Senate Bill 57. You do have 1 witness signed up on this bill.
Good afternoon. Hi, I'm Senator Brian Simonaire presenting Education Veterans Notation. I just want to start first. We had a Veterans Caucus today with the governor, and Senator Brooks gave a really moving speech about how he served in Vietnam. And he was young, willing to go over, and when he came back, people were silent to him. They were even hostile, but they weren't thanking him. Thankfully, today, we recognize our veterans for what the work they did, and this bill goes towards that as well. So what this does is authorizes a veteran notation to be put on educational licenses or public profile. And this may sound familiar because last year we passed similar legislation for 4 other departments: the Department of Health, Labor, Environment, and General Services. And I worked with and have the support of the Department of Veterans and Military Families, Military Communities, and on this consensus legislation. Now, first, let me tell you, this is enabling legislation, and it sets up the framework so the department can do it at their timing. So it does 2 things. First, it enables the department to issue licenses or display public profiles with a veteran notation on it. But another important factor of this is if the veteran consents, then the Department of Veterans and Military Families can send them information about benefits and services. As you know, laws change all the time, and so that will give them the ability to do that. This is modeled after the MVA program, where they put veterans notations on the driver's license. The problem is only about half the veterans in our state utilize that. So we're trying to get more tools in the toolbox to get that information out to them. And also it lets a veteran know that they recognizes them so people can thank them. Other veterans can reach out to them. And lastly, I'll say I've been working on legislation to help veterans deal with suicide. It's a major issue, and one of the issues is isolation. And so the more public awareness we have of veterans and connecting them with other veterans, the better. So with that, no opposition, no fiscal note. I would ask for your favorable consideration.
Chair Wilkins and members of this committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify in favor of Senator Simonaire's bill. I'm Dave Dragic, retired Army Colonel and Legislative Director for the Maryland Military Coalition and also a Vietnam veteran. This bill is enabling legislation that authorizes the Department of Education to establish a process to include the designation veteran on the licenses and public profiles with the consent of the veteran. The MMC has strongly supported other bills that authorize this process, and we strongly support this bill for the same reasons. This bill offers recognition of veteran status while fully protecting privacy and individual choice. It reduces unnecessary administrative burdens on veterans by making the notation process more efficient and improves how the department serves primary and secondary educators who are veterans. And this bill enhances the state's ability to connect veterans with benefits and services they might not even realize they qualify for. As we have pointed out on other similar bills, many veterans fall through the cracks simply because they are unaware of available programs or have difficulty navigating multiple agencies. This legislation helps close that gap in a responsible and efficient manner. This bill is a practical, affordable, and sensible measure that helps veterans who are primary and secondary educators while respecting privacy and keeping the Department of Education efficiency. We also note that this bill was passed unanimously by the Senate, and for these reasons, the Maryland Military Coalition strongly supports SB 0057 and asks for a favorable report from the committee. We would like to thank Senator Simon Eyre for sponsoring this important legislation and appreciate his leadership on this issue.
Thank you so much, Senator, for the bill, and we appreciate the testimony of the witness. Are there any questions? Okay, seeing none, that ends the bill hearing for Senate Bill 57.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
for your time. Are there any other senators that are present? Senator Brooks, back with us again. Please come on up. Senate Bill 263.
Thanks, Chair. And yes, I am trying to obtain squatters' rights. So, yeah. Chair Wilkins, Vice Chair Philmark, and members of the committee, thank you for allowing me the opportunity to testify on Senate Bill 263, that's advanced enrollment procedures for dependent children of active service members. SB 263 allows military families to enroll their children in advance, but it does not require schools to provide transportation, instruction, or special education services before that child is physically present. Services are delivered as they are for other students, beginning with when the student actually attends school. The bill purpose is to reduce administrative delays, not alter school service obligations. SB 263 is a cross-file of HB 102, which passed out of this committee and the full House unanimously. SB 263 is in the same posture as HB 102, and as such, I would respectfully request a favorable report on SB 263. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. I see a question from Delegate Eversole.
Yes, Senator, you have quite a nice list of co-sponsors here. Maybe you'd like to tell us who the sponsor is in the House, just so we're sure we know.
Of course, you know who it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's put her on the record, shall we?
Okay. Yes, we can.
Senator Patterson, Delegate Patterson. Let's make her the senator.
Okay. Thank you.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for that question. Delegate Wims.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senator Brooks, I just wanted to say, isn't it true that after your heartfelt speech this morning, there wasn't a dry eye in the governor's house this morning?
Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Sometimes, you know, when you reflect back on those experiences, sometimes they touch you in different ways, you know, and being able to share that and get it out, it was, I guess one could say, somewhat cathartic. Yeah, so, but it wasn't intended, but sometimes it just happens that way.
Thank you, and I say continue to tell your story.
Thank you, sir. I
Madam
appreciate
Chair.
it. Okay. Thanks, Madam Chair.
Thank you. If there aren't any other questions, then that ends the bill hearing on Senate Bill 263. Good to see you.
Okay, same here.
All right. Okay, if we don't have any other senators present, I will go through our list in the bill order. And if I call the bill number and you're representing a senator, you can come up and testify for 2 minutes. But I'll actually start with, I think we do have the Department of Labor here, Lauren Gilwey. So Senate Bill 70, if you're here, thank you. Please come on up.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Chair Wilkins, Vice Chair Feldmark, and members of the House Ways and Means Committee. For the record, my name is Lauren Gilwey, and I serve as the Policy Director for the Division of Workforce Development and Adult Learning at the Maryland Department of Labor. Thank you for the opportunity to address you again on the department's Adult Education Bill, SB 70. As I shared with the committee last month, nearly 500,000 Marylanders do not have a high school diploma, a barrier that can lock them out of good-paying jobs, registered apprenticeships, and the opportunity to build personal wealth. While Maryland Labor and our partners already support over 30,000 adult learners each year in programming, more must be done, and this bill will help. It adds a fourth diploma pathway through a cost-free policy solution called Maryland Diploma Works. The House cross-file of this bill, HB 297, has passed the full House of Delegates with an amendment from this committee requiring the department to publish information about the program on our website, and we can implement that added provision with existing resources. We request a favorable report on SB 70. I appreciate your time, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much for your testimony. Any questions? Okay, seeing none, that ends the bill hearing on Senate Bill 70. Now calling Senate Bill 204. Is there anyone here for Senate Bill 204? And again, staff and others presenting will have 2 minutes. Senators, when they arrive, have unlimited time. And we do prioritize the bills for passage of senators who show up in person to our committee. You can go ahead and proceed.
Hello, Chair Wilkins, Vice Chair Feldmark, and members of the Ways and Means Committee, and happy Maryland Day. My name is Phoebe Hewlin. I'm one of the legislative interns for Senator Kagan, who is proud to represent Gaithersburg and Rockville. She cannot be here today because she's in an important briefing with the Speaker of the House on an energy bill that just passed out of the House, and she's given me the opportunity to present this bill. SB 204 is a bipartisan bill, and it passed unanimously out of the House and the Senate with 22 co-sponsors, both out of their respective committees and out of both chambers. It passed unanimously. Senator Kagan would love if you would amend our Senate bill to match the posture of House Bill 57. They added an amendment that would add on a capstone project to the Civic Excellence Program in this bill. And I urge a favorable report on Senate Bill 204, and thank you for the opportunity to present, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you so much, Phoebe. Any questions? All right, seeing none, thank you for your time. That ends the bill hearing on Senate Bill 204. Next up, Senate Bill 339, Senator Lewis Young.
Good afternoon, honored Chair Wilkins, Vice Chair Feldmark, and esteemed members of the committee. My name is Andrew Burgoyne. I'm Chief of Staff for Senator Karen Lewis Young, here to present SB 339, Maryland School of the Deaf Board of Trustees alterations. This is a very simple bill. It is the cross-file of the honored Vice Chair, HB 1052, which passed out of this committee and the House of Delegates unanimously. My version has passed the Senate unanimously. It would bring the Maryland School for the Deaf's board more in line with the state Board of Education as far as membership, and it would require a majority of deaf members on the board, making the board more representative of the community it serves. And with that, I urge a favorable report.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Are there any questions? All right, seeing none, thank you for your time. That ends the bill hearing on Senate Bill 339. Next, Senate Bill 359, Senator Henson.
Oops. Good afternoon, Chair and Vice Chair. My name is Dr. Linda Hannafin Bonner. I'm the Legislative Director for Senator Shanika Henson. And she asked that I express her appreciation to being able to present this bill to you again, and also that she has fond memories of being here in the Ways and Means Committee, and was sorry she couldn't attend because she's in another legislative session. Senate Bill 359, Child Care Facilities Criminal Histories Check, represents another opportunity for Maryland to increase the protections of our youth here, and particularly our children here in the state of Maryland. Overall, the bill provides MSDE to establish criminal history checks for anyone applying to work as a volunteer in certain child care facilities. It requires them to create a centralized unit within the Maryland Department of Education to manage and track background checks. It also requests them to update qualification procedures for probationary child care teachers. And it will remove the limit on the number of deputy state superintendents that we may have to appoint, thereby saving the money. The bill does have a small fiscal note, which is very good, and we would like to ask a favorable report on this legislation, which would include the amendments passed by this committee on House Bill 635, reflecting a different meaning of child care facilities, complying with the federal deadline for reporting requirements in the central depository, and also a new section at the end enacting the legislation. And thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. And yes, we are glad to hear that you're amenable to our amendments as the bill passed the House. Are there any questions? Seeing none, please do give our regards to our former Ways and Means member, and it's good to see you. Thank you. That ends the bill hearing on Senate Bill 359. Next, Senate Bill 440. Someone representing Chair Gazzoni. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Madam Vice Chair, members of the Ways and Means Committee. My name is Micaiah Polk, a fellow in Senator Gazzoni's office, here to present Senate Bill 440, the Income Tax Theatrical Production Tax Credit Sunset Extension. This bill seeks to extend to 2030 the theatrical production tax credit, which provides a credit against the state income tax for certain costs associated with producing national touring theatrical productions in Maryland. This bill is critical to ensuring that Maryland continues to attract national touring productions, generating vital economic activity and supporting our vibrant arts community. Senate Bill 440 passed the Budget and Taxation Committee unanimously and has passed out of the Senate. The Senate bill has only one amendment, which was to add co-sponsors. The cross-file House Bill 472 was voted out of this committee with an amendment that puts a cap of $20 million on the amount of unused tax credits that can be carried forward and issued in subsequent years, right to be used in future years, and there is no cap on how much can be accumulated over time. Senator Gazzoni thinks $20 million is a reasonable cap, and it will not have any negative impact on the ability to continue to attract shows. Therefore, he wanted this committee to know that he's fine with the House amendment and would ask for a favorable report on the Senate Bill 440 in the same posture as House Bill 472.
Thank you, Makai. Are there any questions? All right, seeing none, thank you so much for your time. Please give our regards to the chairman. And that ends the bill hearing on Senate Bill 440. Next, Senate Bill 503, Senator King.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Excuse me, Patty Horton on behalf of Senator King. Senate Bill 503 continues funding for the highly successful Growing Opportunities for Family Child Care program through fiscal year 2030. This is legislation is an exact cross-file of House Bill 742, which was unanimously passed by this committee. So on behalf of Senator King, I respectfully request a favorable report on Senate Bill 503.
Thank you for your time and your testimony. Are there any questions? Okay, seeing none, that ends the hearing on Senate Bill 503. Let's go to Senate Bill 519, also by Senator King.
Thank you again, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Again, Patty Horton on behalf of Senator King. Senate Bill 519 delays the implementation of the Earned Income Tax Credit Assistance Program and requires the Comptroller and the Maryland Department of Service and Civic Innovation to explore opportunities to assist low-income Marylanders in receiving the EITC and other tax credits. This legislation is an exact cross-file of Delegate Polakovich-Carr's House Bill 735 that was unanimously passed by this committee in the full House And so again, on behalf of Senator King, I respectfully request a favorable report on Senate Bill 519.
Thank you so much. Are there any questions? Okay, seeing none, that ends the bill hearing on Senate Bill 519. Thank you. Our last two bills, Senator McCray, Senate Bill 403. We'll start with that one.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Madam Chair and Vice Chair, and the members of the committee for my chance to testify on Senate Bill 403. My name is Georgia Wolford. I'm an intern for Senator McCray. I'm here on his behalf as he sends his apologies in his absence. We asked for a favorable report on Senate Bill 403 as this passed from this House committee with 17 yeses and 1 excuse. This legislation will be a great help for the families of elementary and secondary children, as this will allow for the school book fair to be more accessible with limited taxation on it. It'll be more accessible for families who have a hardship income, so they will be able to have more access to literacy programs and books to allow for the literacy of the youth of Maryland to be more accessible. By voting yes, it will show your investment in the youth of Maryland, and we ask for a favorable report. Thank you.
Thank you, Jordan, for testifying today. Are there any questions for Jordan? Okay, seeing none, that ends the bill hearing on Senate Bill 403. Next up, Senate Bill 538, also Senator McCray.
Hello, Madam Chair, Vice Chair, members of the committee. My name is Zaire Hill, staff for Senator McCray, who sent his apologies for his absence. We asked for a favorable vote on Senate Bill 538, cause filed with House Bill 717, which expands and stabilizes charitable fundraising opportunities in Baltimore City. It authorizes organizations affiliated with the professional NFL teams that play their home games in Baltimore City to conduct raffles under the same framework currently permitted to the city's professional Major League Baseball teams. The bill is passed in the same posture with 1 excuse and 17 yeses. We again ask for a favorable vote. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your testimony. Any questions? Seeing no questions, that ends the bill hearing on Senate Bill 538. Thank you so much for your time. All right, colleagues, that ends our bill hearings for the day. To the extent that we have everyone here, I would like to touch base with subcommittee chairs after our quick vote. So what we'll do is we will take 5, we'll vote, and then I'll see the subcommittee chairs briefly in the back. All right. And with that, that ends our bill hearings for the day. Thank you.